Hi guys, greetings of the day. Myself Raghavendra. Today we are going with the solid problem. A square prism 35 mm sides of base and 60 mm axis length rests on HP on one of its edges of the base. Draw the projections of the prism and the axis is inclined to HP at 45 degree and VP at 30 degree. It is a square prism problem of 35 mm sides of base and 60 mm axis length, and it is resting on HP with one of its base edge. Axis is inclined to HP at 45 degree, that is theta is equals to 45 degree, whereas to VP at 30 degree, that is phi is equals to 30 degree. As axis is inclined, so it is the locus problem. Draw the horizontal line. Name it as XY VP HP. Now construct a square in HP. Make sure that it is resting on edge. So 35 mm is the side, so it will be 35 35. Join the diagonals to get the center. A in the bracket A1, B in the bracket B1, C in the bracket C1, D in the bracket D1, and O in the bracket O1. This is 35 mm. As it is a square, we have to mention the square symbol. Now project the points to X file. Now as it is a prism, so axis and the edges are parallel to each other. So 60 mm we can draw from this end point also. 60 mm. From here also 60 mm. Complete the rectangle. So this should be dark, whereas here axis is not coinciding with any other edges. So axis we have to show with the chain line. So B1 is visible, A1 is invisible, so it will be B1 dash in the bracket A1 dash. Similarly, C1 is visible, D1 is invisible. So C1 dash in the bracket D1 dash. Similarly, B dash in the bracket A dash, and this one is C dash in the bracket D dash. So axis is invisible. So in the bracket O dash and in the bracket O1 dash. This completes the first position. For the second position, as given, The axis is making an angle of 45 degree with respect to HV. There is theta is equals to 45 degree. So as the axis and this edge is parallel to each other, so if axis is making 45 degree means this edge is also making an angle of 45 degree. So this edge length is 60 mm. So leave some space and draw a line for a length of 60 mm, making an angle of 45 degree with respect to XY line. So this is C dash in the bracket D dash, whereas this one is C1 dash in the bracket D1 dash. Now the line B dash in the bracket A dash to C dash in the bracket D dash, similarly this bottom line, both are perpendicular to this vertical line. The length of those lines are 35 mm because it is parallel to this one. So from this endpoint, draw a line perpendicular to this one for a length of 35 mm. Similarly, from this endpoint also, draw a line perpendicular to this line for a length of 35 mm. Join these endpoints. This is B dash in the bracket A dash, as this one is B1 dash in the bracket A1 dash. Whereas this axis is exactly at the midpoint, from midpoint to midpoint. In the bracket O dash, in the bracket O1 dash. This is 45 degree. Now projecting the points in downward direction. Project horizontally. A1, B1, C1, D1, similarly A, B, C, D. All the outer points are visible. Now moving to the top face, as top face is nearer to the observer, so this AB is also visible. Already we have joined AD, DC, CB. We are left with AB. So AB is this edge. So B dash is here, A dash is behind that one. It is nearer to the observer. It is visible. So join that one also with dark line. Next. Similarly, for the bottom face, A1, B1, B1, C1, and A1, D1 are joined. We are left with C1, D1. So C1, D1 is this one. It is away from the observer. It is invisible. So that has to be a dotted one. Moving to the axis lines. As axis line is not coinciding with any other edges, so this is visible, and top face is visible, so it will be O. Bottom face is invisible, it will be in the bracket O1. And here C1 and D1 are far away from the observer, so both C1 and D1 we have to write in the bracket. This completes the second position. For the third position, he has given axis is inclined to VP at 30 degree. So as axis is inclined, the original length of axis is 60 mm. Now it is reduced to 42.43 mm. As the length of the axis is reduced, so it is a locus problem. First draw 30 degree line. You can give the dimension like this also. So this is 30 degree line. Now take anywhere on this 30 degree line as center, cut an arc of 60 mm original length. Now from this end point, draw horizontal line. Now from the same center, draw another arc of length 42.43 radius. 42.43 mm as radius. Now, this one will be O1, whereas the center is O. Join O1 with axis line only. We have drawn the axis, that is O1 we have drawn. Now we have to construct this rectangle outer box, that is A1, D1, AD, CB, C1, B1. We have to mark these points. To mark these points, first I will extend this O1 above and below also. Why? Because I want to fill this gap, whatever it is there. That length is 12.37. Here also same length it is 12.37. So from O, the same line I am extending for a length of 12.37 mm. Similarly below also 12.37 mm. Why? Because so whatever I have drawn 12.37 above and below, from O it is right side, this line center we can get. So O1 below we will get this line center, that is this point we can get. And once we drawn this one, now this is the midline. So all these vertical lines are perpendicular to this horizontal line, means this O1 line. We are doing that one. Half of the length is 17.5. Why? Because it is 35 mm square. Now from O1 we have got this one, that is this point we got. So from this point perpendicular to this O1 line, draw a line of length 17.5, that is half of 35 mm. Similarly below also 17.5 mm. Similarly from this point perpendicular to this line 17.5 mm, and below also 17.5 mm. 17.5 mm. Now whatever we have drawn, that is, this is A1, B1, this is C, this is D. Join these points A1 to D, similarly C to B1. So once we drawn this rectangle, outside rectangle, now we have to get these two lines. That is C1, D1 and AB lines we have to get within this one. To get this one from O1 to this line, the dimension is 12.37. Similarly from O to this line, it is 12.37 only. So O as center, 12.37 mm as radius, cut an arc. Similarly O1 as center, 12.37 mm as radius, cut another arc. From this point, draw a line perpendicular to O1 till this one, that is 17.5 mm as length. Similarly this side also 17.5 mm as length. Now that is AB is over. So C1 D1, it is dotted line. From this center point, draw a line perpendicular to O1 for a length of 17.5. Similarly, downward direction 17.5. So this is in the bracket C1, in the bracket D1, B, and this one is A. So the same way we copied the second position top view in the third position top view. Projecting the points, before projecting, we'll project from this point first. From A1 dash on this line till this line, B1 dash is also on this line till this line, D1 it is on XY line, C1 it is also on XY line. Next from B dash it is on this line till this line, A dash it is on this line till this line, C and D. A1 dash, B1 dash, C1 dash, and this one is B1 dash. Similarly, A dash, B dash, C dash, and this one is D dash. So all the outer points of every view are visible. So join that one with a continuous dark line. That is C1 dash to D1 dash to A1 dash to A dash, B dash, C dash, back to C1 dash. So these are the outer points. So these are visible. Join that one. Now, in the top view, this is the bottom face. A1, B1, C1, D1 is nothing but the bottom face. Bottom face is nearer to the observer. So here, bottom face is completely visible in the front view. So join that one. That is A1 dash, B1 dash. That is this line. This is nearer to the observer. Join that one with continuous dark line. Similarly, B1 dash, C1 dash. That is B1, C1. This one. So that is also nearer. So that is also visible. So completed. Similarly, coming to the top face, in that one, A dash, B dash, B dash, C dash are joined. Left with C dash, D dash, CD. That is this line. If you see from this side, it is invisible. So it is dotted line. Next, A dash, D dash, that is AD. If you see from this side, it is invisible. So that is also dotted line. So top and bottom faces are completed. Now we are going with longer edges. A1, that is A dash A1 dash and C dash C1 dash are joined. We are left with B dash B1 dash and D dash D1 dash. B1. So that is this one. That is nearer to the observer. It is visible. So B dash B1 dash, it has to be a visible edge. Whereas D dash D1 dash, D1, that is this one. If you see from this side, it is invisible. So that is hidden edge, dotted line. Now moving to the axis. So axis is not coinciding with any other edges. Join that one. So as the bottom face is visible, O1 dash without the bracket. As top face is some of the portion are invisible, so it is in the bracket O dash. Whereas D dash, it is consisting of 3 dotted lines. It has to be written in the bracket. So in the bracket D dash. As it is a locus problem, so we have to measure the apparent inclination also. That is, we have to measure the angle of this O1 line with respect to XY. (45°). So that is beta. Beta is equals to 45°. This completes the problem. Thank you. Please subscribe my channel.